But it was last night we had a conversation in the midst of everything going on with NFL head coaching hires, in which we got to the Browns because we found out that Freddie Kitchens and Kevin Stefanski were the two finalists for the Browns job. And we talked about how there's a reason why two guys that nobody else is talking to be head coaches are the people that are going to be named, could be named head coach. All the big names we thought, the Browns job is so desirable. Why did Mike McCarthy not even interview? Why did Bruce Arians, who openly campaigned for the job, not get an interview? Why did none of these big names do it? And we told you because, or at least I told you disagree with me, is because coaching Baker Mayfield is dangerous for a coach. Seeing his behavior with Hugh Jackson makes other coaches take pause and go, if things don't go well, is that going to be me? And we fleshed this out for a long time. Not that Baker Mayfield's a bad, he's a really good quarterback. And Baker Mayfield's done a lot of really good things. But the optic of him continuing to pick a fight with Hugh Jackson is not what's best for the Browns. As Bill Lumbergh taught us all those years ago, ask yourself, is this good for the company?
On a large scale,
that's what you do.
Well, and I've argued that it is because people have paid attention to what the Browns did this past month and a half. Baker Mayfield, a lot of run, a lot of people just going in and really eviscerating him and going into juvenile name calling and really just bad optics and really terrible broadcasting on their part for the way they've gone after him. You don't like the method to his madness, fine. But, dude, working with a chip on his shoulder. You could say it's off-putting to some folks. You know what? They won. Yeah, they might have beaten a bunch of bums.
Yeah, but
they never beat anybody.
Well, no, they win one game in 3 years.
Right, so they finally actually have some wins. He's campaigning to the fans. Hey, come out and support. Look at what we're doing. You got a good nucleus and a guy who wants to be a leader, a guy who wants to be the face of this team and bring him in the post-LeBron James era, take the boards off the windows of the factory of sadness and open things up for business.
So what happened today is why we're starting with Baker Mayfield, is because we talked about this last night, and then Fox Sports Radio, our wonderful crack staff, social media staff, led by Elijah, who is in here with us right now filming what's going on.
Hi, Elijah.
At Fox Sports Radio on Twitter, put out as part of our best of, hey, listen, like we do for all the shows.
Sure.
Hey, here's a couple of things the shows did you might want to listen to. And they put out on our social media account on Twitter, coaching Baker Mayfield is not something that appeals to successful head coaches. It's only going to be coaches that aren't getting opportunities anywhere else because guys like Mike McCarthy, Bruce Arians, seeing how Baker Mayfield has continued to act over the course of the season at the end of the year, that gives them pause to say, am I okay with joining the Baker Mayfield show? Because now I need this to be my team, and it really isn't my team. We found out today Mike McCarthy may have actually been their top choice, but when they said, hey, we want Freddie Kitchens to stay as the OC, he said no. Why? That's pretty easy, because then it would be Baker Mayfield and Freddie Kitchens, and Mike McCarthy's on an island by himself. Of course he doesn't want that. So this is why you get the smaller names, and today the Browns named Freddie Kitchens head coach. So I get up in the morning, I do my normal thing.
Wake up in the morning,
I
feeling
get on,
like P. Diddy.
I get on the computer, make sure the world is there and everything, and I get on Twitter. And anytime I see the 99 plus over the mentions we get on Twitter, I know that something we have done has really hit virally.
What did Harmon do this time?
Right.
Yeah.
Did Harmon take his pants off during the show? I mean, I thought we didn't have the video on.
I got shorts on.
You're actually wearing red shorts to match your red Guns N' Roses
I'm feeling
t-shirt.
pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't wear pants. No, it's true. I mean, the calves are out and ready to go.
So I get on and I see the 99 plus. I go, okay, it must have been Baker Mayfield. Just because I could tell by the way we went last night, it was doing well for us. And so I see it and I see the responses and I go to the verified when you can get on Twitter and see what people respond, the verified accounts, because that's where I see, okay, can I retweet what Fox Sports Radio put out, what Elijah's putting out and everything. And I go and I just happen to time it right that I'm on there and I see it and a couple of things are revealing, so I know we're hitting virally. And I see it's up there at Fox Sports Radio, coaching Mayfield, not something that appeals to successful head coaches, and the bit is up there for you to click on and listen to. And I'm watching it, and I see it come up, blink, Baker Mayfield liked your tweet. And I'm like, okay, this has to be a parody account. This has to be a parody. And I click on it, and sure enough, it's Baker Mayfield. And I look at it, and I go, oh, wow, this has just hit a new stratosphere. And then a minute later, blink, it comes up, and he tweets, LOL, in response to the Fox Sports Radio tweet. And since that happened, It has taken off today and gone viral. It's become a story. Mayfield responding to us talking about coaching him is not something that successful head coaches are going to just run into and do. And it's kind of taken on its own life from there. The number of people that have liked that, and it's amazing.
Well, here you go. It's
insane.
998 comments.
Yeah.
Some of which are pretty good and not safe for airing.
Well, they're all upset Browns fans. I'm figuring the Browns fans aren't going to be happy.
They were finally happy.
All 4 of them.
Laugh out loud.
Yeah, but they were able to go and at the holiday season, you were able to give the gifts of Browns merchandise that hadn't been dramatically marked down.
Yeah.
For the first time in years, you might have had to pay close to retail price for Browns merchandise for your friends and family. So 998 mentions, 4,700 retweets, 35,000 likes.
That's like President Trump has a good day.
That's a small city that decided they hated what you had to say about. I mean, obviously Cleveland bigger than that.
Of course.
But a small band of 35,000 people rallied together. And I saw a couple of the gifts were great.
It was all Frostberg.
How people went through the digital wizardry.
Oh, yeah, some of the gifts of me and Mayfield. Oh,
were
awesome.
Him putting you down.
It was
awesome.
My finger hurts.
It just, Frostberg's just
got one of those throbbing fingers, And he's got carpal tunnel syndrome just from clicking on this.
And then I texted you and Justin. I said, hey, we're having a Dickerson day, like the day virally had when Eric Dickerson came on the show.
Jeff Fisher fired.
Jeff Fisher fired, and the Rams are going to go to the Super Bowl because of that, so we'll get our Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, buddy.
So it was that kind of day with that response from Baker Mayfield. And, just seeing it was hard to keep up and everything. It's people picking it up, and I'm like, okay, so now it's a thing. So now let me say this, because this is really the point of my statement about Baker Mayfield. Number one, I'm not expecting Browns fans to be happy. I'm not expecting Jason, the ratio of negative tweets. Yeah, because there's a lot of pissed off Browns fans. I get that.
All 6 of them.
I understand. And they don't have anything to do today. They apparently weren't at work today.
Look, if all 6 of them, or 600 or 6,000, whatever, decide to chime in, it's the general rule of customer service, no matter what business you're in. One person out of how many thousand that liked what you did will respond. And we'll comment on, you know what? Johnny was a pretty good clerk at store X. But if Johnny told them to go blank themselves, millions of people now hate Johnny. And are going to come. You know what? Johnny told me that too. He spelled my name wrong. He made fun of my shoes. I mean, there's going to be lots of that. Negativity sells.
Yeah, it's that reinforce, and that's the way it goes. So, I get all that part of it. But this is my point about Mayfield. And I think even Baker Mayfield would have to realize, maybe not the best optic, because this is not about Baker Mayfield getting Hugh Jackson fired because Hugh Jackson shouldn't have been fired. Hugh Jackson was terrible.
He was getting out the door. Awful. It was just a question.
He won one game in 3 years, and if Tyrod Taylor never got hurt, he would be the starting quarterback all season long because Hugh Jackson would never have gone to Mayfield.
That's right. Tyrod.
This is not. Yeah, but I knew him as Tyrod, so I mean I can stay with that.
But now,
it's like the grandfather
now you're like meeting him in a whole new light, and maybe you give him a little bit of positivity and love. Hey, he's one of the best free agent quarterbacks on the market.
not many left.
Yeah.
So the point is that I think even he would admit not the best optic, because it's not about Hugh Jackson was fake, which is the debate he started to rile up on social media. It's not about just the fact that he wouldn't hug him, that he gave him that sidelong death stare going down the field the last game of the regular season. It's not about Hugh Jackson and what he deserved and that Baker Mayfield was right. This is about, again, is this good for the company? Is this good for the Browns, who are going to want a head coach to see this optic that here's your star quarterback who's already more powerful than anybody else in the organization? I mean, this is Baker Mayfield's entire franchise. It's not just he's the quarterback. This is what he says. He wields power like Aaron Rodgers has in Green Bay, and he's only a rookie in the NFL. When other coaches see how a quarterback treats a coach, whether it's his current head coach or once a head coach is out the door, they think about that. And they know, ooh, you know what? I don't know about that. I don't know that I want to go sign up for 2 or 3 years with Baker Mayfield, because if things go badly, is this what's going to happen to me? Do I get a fake and a check mark like on Instagram? Do I get something snidely said about me in the media? And if I wind up getting fired, is Baker Mayfield going to torch me? And then how tough is it for me to get another job in the NFL? Is Baker Mayfield really the opportunity that's going to make me and bring me success that I want? Guys like Mike McCarthy who can pick and choose where they want to go, or Bruce Arians who can decide if they want to go, hey, this is the opportunity I want. And we didn't see any big names connected to the Cleveland Browns. And before you tell me, oh, well, John Dorsett, no. Beginning of the offseason, it was the Browns have the best coaching opening because Mayfield's better than Sam Darnold. He's better than Josh Allen. No, that everybody wants this job. Turns out nobody wanted the job. Because you would have seen big name. Nobody came out of the woodwork to get it. No big college coaches said, oh, I want to go coach Baker Mayfield. Urban Meyer didn't show up at John Dorsey's doorstep saying, hey, I really want to come and coach Browns. No, all they had was Freddie Kitchens, the OC that Baker Mayfield likes because he did a good job the second half of the season. And you got Kevin Stefanski, who was a battlefield promotion OC in Minnesota. They needed somebody who was going to take the job because it's the only job they were going to get. They didn't talk to either of those guys for a head coach. The Browns denied teams permission to interview Kitchens as an OC, but nobody wanted him as a head coach. These are the guys that are going to get that job in Cleveland because the optic of Baker Mayfield being unpredictable is something that the successful head coaches who have a resume are going to look at and say, yeah, I'm a little uneasy about that because Mayfield's too much of a wild card. And I think even he would admit, you know what? Yeah, maybe the whole Hugh Jackson thing, I got to back off a little bit on that. I got to understand that while it's fun for me, it could seem petty and petulant to other people. And certainly all the Browns fans have his back because they all hate Hugh Jackson. But you got to see the bigger picture, and that's at the end of the season, you want a good head coach to come in. You want Mike McCarthy. You want somebody to come in. And none of those guys came in because they were scared of Baker Mayfield.
Well, I think a lot of it goes down to every one of these coaching positions, as we'll get into over the course of the night. At How About a Fresca at Swollen Dome is where you can find us on Twitter and chime in. Is the rules of engagement were there for everybody, right? Matt Rule said, beat it to the Jets, allegedly because he didn't like the guys Maccagnan wanted to put together. Check. You've got, well, and as Frostberg says, and they're the Jets.
And they're the Jets.
But in Denver, Vic Fangio says, I'll do whatever you want. John Elway, you do. I just want to be a head coach. At least that's the report. Okay, fine. In Cleveland, the question still remains about the Haslams. And you saw in Green Bay, they got LaFleur. Again, he's got to do whatever Aaron Rodgers wants, right? And he's open to that. Veteran head coaches to a second-year quarterback, they're going to bow down to that. So you have that. And then you have the Haslam saying, we're successful, and people are talking about us in positive terms for the first time in our lives. So Kitchens was the guy that related well to him, and we're up in all these metrics and offensive numbers, and we're selling tickets and merchandise. Again, full price at retail in the holiday season.
Making cash.
Fire sale at the team store to close out the year. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And there's where Kitchens comes in. But curious to see how Mayfield responds as you go through this offseason, out here to do some good work in the community this weekend, and we roll from there. But the curious case of coaching in 2019, because we've had a lot of curious hires.